Welcome to the Disneyland Forever podcast, your source for all things from the happiest place on earth. For more updates, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Disneyland Forever, and you can check out our website, disneylandforever.com. Hey everyone.
Hello.
It's Jordan.
And Daniel.
And I don't know how to start off because I'm just distracted. We got a cat on my lap.
She is not running around like a crazy woman this time.
No, she's actually just trying to sleep, but in a very, very uncomfortable position.
Yep.
She does not look comfortable.
Nope, not one.
She's not technically sitting. She's not laying down.
I don't know what she's doing.
I don't know. If you have cats, you probably understand that. But
still no snow, still no rain, still nothing. We have gross air.
Yay!
It's poisonous. It's the worst air in the entire world, I think it was. I think it was not just the nation.
It may have been the world.
I think it was the worst air quality in the entire world.
For those who are not familiar with Salt Lake City, we have an inversion in the Salt Lake Valley, and that makes it where it holds all the pollution in.
Yeah, but I thought it only really happened when it had snowed and it was so cold that the air just kind of sat. But nope, it's even when there's no snow on the ground, so
nope.
It's great.
That's not. I don't think the snow is really what causes the inversion.
No, but I thought it made it more prone to it.
Maybe, but that's not what's going on right now. But we still got terrible air. You can't even see the city, actually. It's great. And in certain parts, I haven't really paid attention. Can we see the mountains from our house?
Sometimes.
Oh, cool. So it's a great time. Luckily, it doesn't affect my breathing very much. It affects yours a little bit.
I just can't breathe in general, so.
Like, how do you tell the difference? Anyway, what we want to talk about today, it's a little bit kind of like a history-esque episode. We want to talk about
it's my thought. I'll take credit or take the blame for how
it's not a
kind of a weird idea, but yeah, we'll talk about it.
Well,
yeah, just some of the rides at Disneyland, and it's definitely not an exhaustive list, and we had kind of some strict criteria, but some of the rides that they've changed kind of the feel and just like the way that it's presented, especially
like
it's kind of
more significant type changes.
Yeah, and it's just kind of meant for people, especially who have not been in like 5 or 10 years. So you may already know a lot of it, but
basically the upcoming changes to some of the rides that we already know are happening this year kind of made us think about that a little bit and how people might not know how often this actually happens.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, if we talked about every ride that's ever changed once, we would talk about every ride. And
basically.
We don't have time for that. So.
No. So we picked and choose. We also have a lot of news to go through, and so We're going to try and get going here. We got a new review.
Yes, from Princess D-Rex. Said, one of the best Disneyland podcasts. In a landscape of sterile podcasts and influencers who fear the Disney gods, this show is so refreshing. The hosts are passionate about, without being apologists, not to mention hilarious. They share super helpful planning info. For beginners while still being entertaining for nerds like me, a Disneyland college program alum.
Ooh.
With so much WDW content out there, I also super appreciate their focus on the West Coast. My only regret is not finding the show sooner.
Don't feel that regret.
Yeah, the beginning was not good.
I know, but it honestly was something that we definitely wanted to focus on early on, and that's that there's so many Disneyland podcasts out there that they do talk about like all the parks, which I'm not saying there's any problem with that, but it's that there's not very many because I think there's too many people. Not usually these podcasters, not saying anything about any of them, because they just do what they do and it works for all of them. Great. But for us and for me specifically, I'm like, Disneyland's not this like little redheaded stepchild on the West Coast.
It was the original.
There's still a lot to talk about there and a lot of things that people don't know about, and they get so confused because they think it's the same as Florida. And for people who've been listening to this for a while, it very much isn't.
Probably know by now it's not true. Well, and also like, because Walt Disney World is so huge, has affected so many people's lives, especially people younger than like 50 or 60. It's just easy to kind of have a lot of influencers and podcasters and just Disney people in general focus on Disney World while forgetting Disneyland. So yeah, we definitely want to highlight Disneyland.
And no, we're not apologists.
Nope.
I'll call out Disney. That was a bad idea. But at the same time, I will defend them if something is if I disagree.
Right. Yeah.
If I disagree with someone else who says it was not a good idea, I'll be like, no, it was for the following reasons, and then I them down. But Yeah, thank you so much for that, Princess D Rex, which I think that's kind of funny. I had to look over your shoulder and be like, yes, that is what
Yes, that's what it was.
So if you haven't done so yet, make sure that you also leave us a 5-star rating on Apple, Spotify, or Audible. Or you can leave a 5-star review just like that. We love seeing them. They are really helpful to us.
There was a new one, too.
Yay! And you can leave one of those on Apple as well. And we love seeing them come through. And, make sure that if you know someone that you think could benefit from listening to us, share it with them. Let them know.
Our craziness.
Yes. No, we're not crazy.
Nope.
They're crazy. All right, for news, we do have quite a bit of news. Not a lot of individual stories, but each story is very big. So, first of all, in case you weren't aware, Magic Keys are back on sale again, including the new Explore Key. I did have a couple people reach out asking tips on how to buy the Explore Key, and basically, Magic Keys anymore, they don't sell out that fast. When they do go back on sale, it's not like they're on sale.
Just that day.
They're not going to sell out by the end of the day. That doesn't mean
Couple of weeks, probably?
Usually somewhere between 1 to 4 weeks. So if you already have thinking that I want a Magic Key, get it within the first couple of days.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Do it while you're listening to this, but otherwise...
But if... you don't have to stress about its release whenever they give new release dates. So just FYI about those. Okay. Those for some of these other ones that they are longer. So let's talk about this. To me, was just newsworthy because Disneyland has never done this.
They don't really care about DCA at all, but this year they evidently do.
I know. So the beginning of February is California Adventure's 25th anniversary this year in 2026, and so I was actually thinking, watch them not do a thing for DCA's 25th anniversary because they're still in the middle of the 70th. They actually are doing something for the 25th anniversary. Nothing huge, and this one particularly we're talking about is for Magic Key holders. So if you're a Magic Key holder, listen up. They are going to have, a bunch of photo ops over by the Hyperion Theater courtyard. And it just says photo ops and familiar friends. So my guess is it's probably going to have characters from A Bug's Life for A Bug's Land. They're probably going to have some backdrops from Paradise Pier.
I said Drew Carey will be there for Superstar Limo.
Not.
Just for fun.
Nope.
Whoopi Goldberg will be there from California Golden Time Wines Fun?
Say that again?
I don't know. Golden Dreams.
There we go. Yeah. But what did you say?
I don't know.
Golden Time Fun? Something like that. So they haven't released details about all those yet. But also Magic Key holders will also get a specially designed postcard magnet set.
They're kind of cute.
They're pretty cute, actually.
We already have 7 quintillion magnets, so I don't know if we...
I would have loved to have gone to these photo ops, though.
Yeah.
They are only going to be taking place from February 5th to February 15th.
Not including the 9th.
Not including the 9th. And on all those dates, it'll be available from 2 to 8 p.m. And it says that they're actually going to use a virtual queue. So join the virtual queue through the Disneyland app.
Oh, okay.
It's probably just because they don't want everyone gathering
lines.
around there
Yeah.
and having these really long lines. So they're only going to have a certain number of people in there at a time.
For you, Jordan, who thought or were wondering why they didn't do much DCA celebration stuff, you have to remember the 20th anniversary was when they were closed for COVID for all but an hour and a half of 2021.
Yeah, but they did sell 65th anniversary merchandise for Disneyland, but they didn't sell
true.
any 20th anniversary merchandise for California Adventure. And they're doing the first ever, not the first ever, but they are selling these new, they're just kind of generic popcorn buckets, but they have one that's new for the 70th anniversary and a DCA 25th anniversary popcorn bucket. Huh. And I'm like, look at you actually recognizing that California Adventure exists. So that's going to be going on
when it
soon.
first opened, it was terrible.
It was, and I'm not arguing with that because it's very true. Okay, so next they announced all the details for the Lunar New Year Festival at California Adventure. So a reminder, this is going to go from January 23rd to February 22nd. Downside is it's just the shortest thing ever that they do, and I don't like that. But
it is fun though, and it's the year of the horse.
So they're going to have Horse Color. He's the main character that they're going to be bringing out, which will be fun. So just a general reminder of what they do overall for the Lunar New Year Festival. Obviously, they do have marketplaces and special food, which you're going to go through. Yes, another food episode, but this one's just shorter menu, so we're going to go through it pretty quickly. And they'll have special character appearances and a really cute getup. Mulan's Lunar New Year procession, which I highly recommend. It's not that long, but it's really fun.
It's very fun.
And then they always have, we've never been able to see this, something called Hurry Home, which is a pre-show for World of Color. They usually only do it before the first one, I think. I don't know. But that's pretty cool as well. So that's like the general stuff that they do. And there's especially merchandise and everything. And they'll have like other activities and performers around. But that's the general stuff. So now let's talk about the foodie guide for Lunar New Year. Again, it's not that big. They did say they are going to be using a sip and savor pass again. I would say at most it's going to have 6 options.
Yeah, probably like the 6 one.
It might either be 4 or 6, is my guess, because again, there's not that many. Okay, so these are the marketplaces. At Bamboo Blessings, they are going to have a 5-spice popcorn chicken and a strawberry milk tea macaron, which sounds really good, and also a guava dragon fruit sparkler. It has Simply Lemonade, Topo Chico, and guava and dragon fruit syrups. Sounds really good. And you can get that with vodka if you want. At Longevity Noodle Company, they have japchae noodles. I don't know how to describe them. It looks almost kind of like a glass noodle.
Yeah, look good.
With Kalbi short rib or garlic noodles, which is just, they don't have meat on them. Yay. And then Lucky 8 Lantern will have a pho dip, which I think they had last year. And it's literally just a pho that you dip in broth.
Like a French dip, but not.
Rice noodles, sliced beef, jalapenos, onions, and in the pho broth. And then a little chocolate firecracker mousse, which looks so cute.
It's very red.
Instead, it's all light chocolate mousse, chocolate ganache filling, chocolate almond dacquoise, and popping candy featuring.
Then how is it so red?
It's white chocolate on the outside, is my guess.
Okay.
Also, for the record, it is not dacquoise. It's a dacquoise.
We watch Holiday Baking and Spring Baking,
champion,
the Food Network stuff, and they mispronounce it.
All the time they say
not
dacquoise. It's dacquoise. It 100%. It's dacquoise. Okay, Prosperity Bao and Buns. As you might expect, they have bao. They have a char siu barbecue pork bao and our kung pao bao. Again, we're not going through all the drinks because there's too many of them. At Red Dragon Spice Traders, they have spicy chicken wings and a mandarin orange cream puff, which they've had for many years. It's pretty good. It looks like an orange. It does taste like orange. It's fine. I had it. I'm like, yeah, it's good. This one is very popular. Wrapped with Love has a quesadilla egg roll. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's very, very popular. So if you like the quesadilla tacos, you'll love this. And they also have a taro Vietnamese cold brew, which you can get with or without bourbon.
Just add alcohol to every drink.
Yep.
Sprite with rum.
They have a special... Okay, and those are just the marketplaces. Then throughout the park, they do have like a special cocktail at Carthay Circle restaurant. They do have like these firecracker marshmallow ones, which are also cute.
Cute.
And then at Award Wieners, they're going to have a scallion pancake tostada, a fried scallion pancake with bulgogi beef, kimchi aioli, and spicy scallion salad. They are also going to have a Feng Li Su churro in the Churros at Hollywoodland, a churro rolled in shortbread sugar, topped with pineapple jelly and cherry-flavored popping pearls. That sounds pretty good to me.
It does.
At the Hollywood Lounge, they will have, I do not know how to say this. I'm going to say it. Teokbokki. Teokbokki. I don't know how to say that, so I'm sorry if I butchered it. Rice cakes with gochujang sauce topped with cheese, sesame seeds, and green onions. Over at Schmoozies, new Mickey-shaped waffles. Again, I don't know how to say this. Hotiok inspired Mickey-shaped waffles. They're just red batter waffles with brown sugar and cinnamon custard and a yellow whipped topping and sprinkles.
Looks tasty to me.
It sounds really good to me. Again, at Studio Catering Company, the Teokbokki, again, another place to get it. It's the same thing, it's just another place to get it.
Yeah.
At Pim Test Kitchen, they're going to have a spicy pork belly grilled cheese. It's exactly what it sounds like. That's pork belly and spicy sauce and grilled cheese. At the Cozy Cone Motel, they're going to have a crispy chicken bao. And at the Aunt Cass Cafe, the Year of the Horse bread. So it's horse-shaped bread.
Yeah, just the same bread.
And a strawberry green tea bread pudding. Not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah.
When they say green tea, I'm pretty sure it's going to be matcha, but I'm not 100% certain. Maybe it's just regular
What's weird
green
is
tea.
I don't mind green tea, but I don't like matcha.
Maybe it's just regular green tea. Maybe it's not matcha. It doesn't say matcha anywhere. It just says green tea.
Matcha tastes like grass to me.
They also have an almond cold brew. Still going to pass out. Ew, orange cold foam. No. I don't want orange in coffee. Ugh. Sorry.
Yuck.
No. Lucky Fortune Cookery will have a mango milk tea. And Lamplight Lounge will have Mongolian beef topped with green onion, sesame seeds, red chili flakes, and crispy shallots served with noodles tossed in Chinese broccoli, cabbage, and carrots. And coconut pandan donuts. Pandan is like an East Asian vanilla. So that sounds delightful to me. Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta will have a Korean pork belly pizza. Pork belly, kimchi, cucumber, mozzarella, yellow corn, sesame seeds, and kimchi marinara.
I love pork belly as much as the next person, but it's not healthy.
No, it's not. It's all fat.
It's just one big blob.
And look
of
how
fat.
pretty this is. This is the pandan cheesecake. It's just pandan flavored cheesecake with brown butter graham crust,
It's a
chocolate
cute,
coconut whip
cute
topping.
color too, like a color green.
Kind of like a tealish green.
Yeah, tealy green.
Really good. And then Paradise Garden Grill will have lemongrass pork skewers with rice, garlic rice, and daikon radish, and a Vietnamese coffee roulade. Coffee sponge, Vietnamese coffee mousse, coffee cookie crumble, and sweetened condensed milk whipped cream.
Coffee.
And this is just a big mess. Smoked Jumpers Grill will have bulgogi fries. It sounds really good. Fries with bulgogi beef, kimchi, cucumber, mozzarella, gochujang, aioli. But it doesn't look good.
It looks very unappetizing, like a poutine from Canada that
Yep.
went wrong.
And they will bring back those Mickey hot dog buns that they've had before for years. I don't really know what's so special about them, but
They're
only
Mickey
have them.
shaped.
I know, but they only have them during Lunar New Year.
Mickey shaped.
So there we go. We actually did a foodie guide in a short period of time. Okay, the last bit of news, and I know this is a lot of news that we're going through, and this just goes through a lot. Disney announced changes coming to Galaxy's Edge and starting April 29th. This is specific to Disneyland. They are not doing these things in Walt Disney World.
Weird.
Yes.
Well, I guess distinguishing them. But
So basically, when Galaxy's Edge opened in 2019, the idea was that the whole land takes place between episodes 8 and 9.
yeah, that's right.
And so everything has been stuck with that. And they kind of find reasons to bring in characters or other things from outside that time period. But because there's a backstory to it, that's what they've really stuck with, is that it's between episodes 8 and 9. Well, basically, they're just saying we're not going to do that anymore. It's expanding to include more timelines. So basically, they're changing the backstory. It does come with some things that are going to be noticeable and some things that will not be noticeable.
Some Star Wars nerds are freaking out.
Yes.
I love Star Wars so much, but the 8 and 9 movies are not as good as 4, 5, 6. So
if you see anything that talks about the Galactic Civil War and the New Republic, the Galactic Civil War is the original trilogy. The New Republic takes place between the original and the sequel trilogy. And then they say the Age of the Resistance and the First Order, that's the sequel trilogy. So basically, they're not really bringing in the prequels, which I'm
That's
fine
fine,
with,
yeah.
because those are not good.
no, 3 is okay.
3 is fine.
They're really good with riff tracks from MST3K.
So basically, the reason they're doing this is because they want to add new character, more beloved characters is what it says here, new props and graphics in some areas. They're adding in more music from the actual films themselves.
It does feel very quiet in there. There's like the ambient noises of ships going by, and that's all.
Yes. And like one of the things that they're really teasing is the fact that Darth Vader is now going to actually be in Galaxy's Edge. He has not been in Galaxy's Edge before. If you're wondering, why is this news? They've literally never had him there because he doesn't fit the time period.
He was dead in the time frame.
Yep. So you will hear the Imperial March. This is that Darth Vader is going to be there to look for Luke Skywalker. Leia and Han are going to be with Luke and Chewbacca at it says among the Rocky Spires, which means it's probably around the Millennium Falcon.
Okay, those are kind of weird to me. Like to have I know they've had real people like Rey and stuff, but yeah, they're pretty classic. You can't really replicate those.
They also said you'll still see Ahsoka Tano and the Mandalorian and Grogu. You're just going to see R2 everywhere because he fits in every place. Rey is pretty much only going to be over by Rise of the Resistance. That's pretty much all the places you're going to find her now, because that's still very much stuck in the Resistance time period. They're adding more John Williams music throughout. Let's see, and then Oga's Cantina. They just said, people have been reporting this wrong, because they said it's going to be outside Oga's Cantina. No, the Cantina band song will be heard inside Oga's Cantina.
I thought it already was.
No, they're saying like the original version.
Oh yeah, because he does like a mix.
And people are freaking out because Oga Gara has only recently opened this watering hole, because it changes the timeline when I don't care that much. You're never going to notice it. Just normal people will not notice it. Okay, here's the other thing. First order cargo will no longer be first order cargo. This is the one that's over by Oga's. It's now going to be Black Spire Surplus, a military salvage operation offering artifacts from across the history of the galaxy, including Imperial and Rebel items from the Civil War. Dock on Dar's Den of Antiquities will display a different array of one-of-a-kind items from its past. So not right now, it's been really stuck in certain time periods. Going to be going
and it's
back.
just making lightsabers or just buying lightsabers.
And then it says an earlier generation of the Mubo family will operate the droid depot where they'll be prototyping the BB style of droid. And it says they're still going to have all the other droid options they've had to build. So that's not going to change anything. It's just like their backstory is changing as to what they're actually offering there. And it says that Luke will be interested in meeting with Savi, like Savi's workshop where you get the lightsabers, build lightsabers. And so they're saying you're going to see more of that. But other things are not changing. They're still going to have blue milk. They're still going to have Ronto wraps. They're still going to have the Shadows of Memory and the Fire of the Rising Moons. So many things are staying the same. It's just basically they're changing their backstory so they can add more characters and change some of the iconography a little bit.
I agree. I think this is a good idea because I think Disney thought when 8 and 9 came out that they would be the quintessential Disney or Star Wars for all time, and people would forget about the old stuff.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
So this is just their way to be able to say, like, okay, we're still celebrating the original trilogy and, like, The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka and the sequel trilogies. Like,
it just makes sense when you can bring in so many different facets and have so many different types of people.
I think it weirds people out when it's like, you could always meet Darth Vader. Well, if you were a Disney Visa card holder, you could meet Darth Vader in Tomorrowland.
He's so scary.
But
I'm still scared by him.
So starting April 29th. This actually does lead us into what we wanted to talk about with these changes to rides. And the reason is because what made Dan think of it primarily was the changes coming to Smuggler's Run.
Yeah, and also, so there was news...
Which has nothing to do with any of these timelines, by the way.
No.
Just throwing that out there.
That's true. There was the news also... what was it, a documentary or something you said that they were talking about?
It was a Wall Street Journal article.
Oh, that's right, because some Imagineers who worked under Bob Chapek.
And under Bob Iger.
Yeah, they were just saying how, like, things could have gone better, and especially with, like, Galaxy's Edge, how they were going to actually do 4 extra timelines for Smuggler's Run, but they didn't have the technology, yes, but they also didn't want to spend the money on it, so... Here we are that they're actually going to be doing that.
So with Smuggler's Run, for those of you who don't remember, what they're going to be doing is they're going to be changing the story up to where it's now going to be that you're going with the Mandalorian and Grogu on a mission to, I assume, still Corellia. But also there's going to be elements about the story that can change. So it's not going to be the exact same ride every time you go on it. Which I think is exactly what that ride needed.
It really does.
It's a fun ride, but the majority of people in that line have ridden it less than 5 times.
Or if they have done it more than that, they're obsessed.
Which I don't know why, because the problem is you get good at it and it's not as fun. No. But we love that ride. We just don't want to be the pilots because we want to be with pilots that don't know what they're doing because it makes the ride more fun.
So it just kind of points to the fact that Disney does often need to update things.
Yes.
And it's funny because, like, Small World, there's been some changes over the years. Yeah. They've added, like, the IPs in it, but it's still a classic thing. There's just something about it, especially when that one is like a video game, and if you're just going in and playing the exact for Smugglers, not Small World.
Small World is not a video game.
No, just comparing the two, like when you have a video game that is the exact same and you're doing it at the exact same time or way each time, even if you switch which role you play, it just gets kind of boring. So
yeah,
it just highlights that Disney does change, and that's obviously what Walt Disney wanted. He said that Disneyland's never finished. So. Yeah,
so Disneyland will never be finished, which is the thing that we always have to remember every time a change comes up is that's the whole point, is that's why actually Walt loved the idea of a theme park, because he loved that if he had a new idea, he could just go in and change something. Because he said he hated how he worked so hard on Snow White, and then the minute it was released in theaters, you couldn't touch it. It was done. You couldn't do anything more to it. It was already out in the world. Even though there was things he would have loved to change about it, he couldn't change it. So that's what he really specifically loved about Disneyland, is that he can change it. And that's why they still continue to change it. And I think Walt would have been upset if he had come back, if he could come back to life and see it's still the exact same thing. Like,
well, and that really is the difference. One of the main differences between Disneyland and something like Six Flags or like those rides.
They just add new rides. They don't necessarily like plus ride. That's what Disney likes to call this, by the way, when they just add some new magic to a ride, is they like to call it they're plussing it.
Yeah. And speaking of Snow White, that was another one I was thinking of because obviously when it first opened, you actually never saw Snow White because you were supposed to be her going through the ride.
It was actually a common complaint that Disney got on all the dark rides in Fantasyland, that people were like, where is Alice? Where is Mr. Toad? Where's Peter? Where's Snow White? Because they're like, well, these are their rides, but why don't I see them?
You're supposed
the Imagineers envisioned that you were that character. So you were going through as though you were that character.
That is a cool idea.
It's a cool idea, but it didn't read. People didn't understand that.
Didn't get it.
And so they slowly, over the years, started adding the characters in. And the problem with Snow White specifically,
it was all about the witch.
Well, Snow White's ride for its entire history has been plagued by the fact that it's a little bit scarier. And I think they liked that because it was a different emotion that they were tapping into than the other dark rides. And it was, in a lot of ways, Snow White is the darker tale.
It's a darker movie for sure.
But they've always had those problems where even though it was called Snow White's Scary Adventures, and they would always label it as scary, people would be surprised with their little kids that they found it scary. And they're like, well, we told you, it's Snow White's Scary Adventures.
Wasn't that scary.
For little kids, though.
It was dark, yeah.
And so that's why during COVID, they basically completely redid the ride and changed it to Snow White's Enchanted Wish to remove a lot of the scary elements so that it could focus more on the actual story of Snow White itself.
Yeah, I still like that there's the witch, and then they just updated some of the elements to make it so much more magical. But yeah, the ending to me, where you go through and it just...
The ending, for those of you who may have never been able to go on the original Snow White's Scary Adventures, not the original, but like before this version, you would go through, and it was all, you'd have to go through that scary forest, and then suddenly you'd find the dwarves that they were confronting the witch, and then it was, you go underneath the witch as she falls off the cliff, and then the door opens and it says, and they lived happily ever after the end, get off.
They did?
We're like, I don't know when that happened.
That was a very quick
We
ending.
jumped somewhere. And so that's one reason they changed it to actually see the ending of the movie.
Yeah. And obviously, as I said earlier, we're not talking about every ride because Jordan was talking about like Peter Pan, how they put like extra
now you just
little elements,
about Peter Pan.
little like they've been able to do different like technology or stuff, but to me, Snow White, it's not just that. It's not just the fun lights. It's like, it's a different ride and it's a cool update. So,
another ride that they did, and it was not because it was plagued, it's just had a very interesting history, was the Jungle Cruise. So for those who don't know, we talked about it a little bit before when we talked about Adventureland. When the Jungle Cruise was first being developed, Walt even wanted live animals. He wanted it to be a real
And he wanted live
cruise.
Animals in the Tiki Room. No.
Well, that was back when the Tiki Room was supposed to be a restaurant.
Here's some poop with your food. No.
So anyway, they had to let him know, like, most of these animals are nocturnal. This is not going to work to have real animals there. But then still, when it opened, it was a serious cruise. And then it wasn't until Mark Davis went through Disneyland. It was like, nothing made me laugh. That he sketched out some ideas for Disney so they could change the Jungle Cruise and make it funnier. And then that's how the Jungle Cruise has evolved over time to be comical. Now, one of the problems that it was coming into, the 2010s particularly, was that there was a scene where you were going through and encountering a bunch of Aborigines. And basically, there's no way that you can, like, poke fun at that without it coming across as just a tiny bit racist. And so, people still laughed. And yes, the jokes were funny because it was usually that they were like dancing and just chanting. And in some language, and maybe it was made up, I don't know. But then the cast members would usually go, let me listen if I can see if I can understand anything. And they go, you put your left foot in, you would take your left foot, or something like that. Like, it was funny, but at the same time,
it's a little culturally inappropriate.
It was a little hard to justify it. And so that's when, not all that long ago, that they updated the Jungle Cruise on both coasts so that it doesn't involve that scene at all. And that's why now they have the scene with the monkeys they're chimpanzees.
Yeah.
The chimpanzees.
That's part of the joke, too.
It is part of the joke. In the Jungle Cruise boat, and the ones with the butterflies and everything, is because that was to take that space up. And honestly, people were freaking out, like, how dare you change it for this? Like, if you didn't even know that scene existed,
there's so many
you were
scenes.
not going to miss it.
No, there's so many scenes. It's hard to remember every single one. Are they ever going to fix the piranhas?
I don't know if it's broken or if they've just chosen not to use them again.
I don't know.
I don't know.
There's not been piranhas.
Oh, it was
in a
also
long
the same
time.
problem with Trader Sam. Although I think that Trader Sam at the end of Disneyland's ride was less culturally inappropriate than the Trader
Disney
Sam
World.
at Disney World,
It was
because Disney
bad.
World was very much a caricature.
Yeah.
The one in Disneyland was actually kind of trying to look like a real person, and whereas the one in Disney World was a caricature. And so then it's like, oh, we're trying to say that we respect all cultures, and then
Right.
we present this.
Yeah.
So that didn't work. So that's why now Trader Sam still technically exists. You just don't see him.
Yeah. I mean, the shrunken head thing was kind of fun because, like, 2 heads for one of yours. Or
Two of his heads for one of yours.
Yeah.
Is what they'd say. But yeah,
I
sometimes they change things because times have shifted, and it's the same thing with pirates. We're not going to go into detail about pirates because you don't actually realize how many
Quite a few.
times pirates has been altered because suddenly things just didn't sit well anymore.
But I kind of get why Walt Disney would have wanted a more serious thing because he was just fascinated by
Yes.
the jungle
Yes.
and like the true life adventure series and all that. So yeah,
But it would never have survived
no,
to
it would
this
have been.
day.
It would be. Oh no, definitely not. But and even just a small period of time, people have been like, this is very boring. So
Yeah. And it's the fact that it's just taken on a life of its own because of all the changes that they've made
yeah,
to it.
the funniness has spawned the restaurant at Disney World, and
I think it's also nice when they change up the scenes for the cast members because they suddenly get to tell different jokes.
oh yeah.
The ones
And
that have been there for
I
years.
I just like also that each ride is totally different. There's the standard
Yeah.
jokes. I don't know if they're told like you must do the
Yes, they are told.
backside of water.
They are told if
Yeah.
you do. There are certain jokes that you must tell this one.
But yeah, there's so many that I think they come up with on their own, and it's quite cool.
Another one that obviously you have to think of, and it ties really well into why they did what they did with Smuggler's Run as well, is Star Tours.
Yeah.
Obviously, I guess there's now, and a lot of people probably, because this was changed like, 10 years ago or more?
Maybe 12.
More than that.
Yeah.
I don't remember how long ago it was that they changed Star Tours to The Adventures Continue. But when Star Tours first opened in 1989, I believe is when it opened, there was just one story. It was a really good story.
Yes.
But it was just one story, and people loved it. People really did enjoy it. But
And for a little while, it was still at Paris before they changed.
I can't remember what the last one was to change.
But yeah, like it's so classic. But yeah, when it's the same thing over and over and over.
So there's multiple things that led to them wanting to make the changes. I think they were like, the story is getting dated because it had been over 20 years of the same story over and over again, which people did love, but it was a very long time to have the exact same ride and have nothing change. But then also George Lucas when he said that when he was first working with Disney on Star Tours, that he saw it more as an attraction where eventually, since it's using primarily a video,
They could change it.
They could change it periodically. It was going to be difficult back then when they first opened it, but he's like, oh, I feel like the technology is here now that we could make it where it could change. And so that's why they did it where The Adventures Continue. Technically, this is a prequel.
Yeah.
It's supposed to
And
take place
it
about
used to
30
be-
years before
It used to be the
old
Star Speeder
Tours.
3000, and then these are the Star Speeder 1000,
1000.
which is funny.
So that's it's supposed to be the idea. But then now they changed it to where there's an opening scene, a middle, like a character you meet in the middle, and then an ending scene. Well, no, there's the opening scene, first destination, a character you meet in the middle, and then the final destination. But they made it to where all of those can change.
Yep.
And they have options
Lots
for
of
each
variants.
of them.
It's quite fun.
I actually personally feel that one of the reasons they were doing it, I think that they were already thinking about developing some sort of Star Wars experience in the parks. And I think they knew, if we have like a whole land of Star Wars, how is Star Tours supposed to compete?
Yeah.
And that's another reason why it's still to this day, they update it all the time. Every time there's a new major release in the Star Wars universe, they will add a scene or two to Star Tours.
I don't like it when they like fix it on that for so long.
When it's new, they'll make
like
it where
the
everyone
whales,
sees
it's
it.
like, okay, cool, whatever.
I don't know why it took them so long to not make it where it's the set thing. But Star Tours is the most classic example of them changing something so that it could stay current and it can stay interesting. Now, there are people that they feel that they enjoy the first one more, and that's fine at the same time.
I love the first one.
I love it. But I do think that if they hadn't changed it, it may not have gone over as well after Galaxy's Edge opened.
Probably not.
I really think that people because the lines dropped dramatically from Star Tours after Galaxy's Edge opened.
Yeah,
and I don't blame them because if you're doing before that was your only Star Wars ride.
Yeah, now you have an immersive location with 2 new rides, or you have an old ride that just does the whole one set thing.
Yeah. The other one that would be amiss if we didn't mention it is Soarin', especially since it also is getting an update this year on July 2nd when they open up Soarin' across America. Soarin', when I've read about like its original production when it was Soarin' over California, is that they very basically they came up with the idea for the ride and then they were like, oh crap, we have to hurry and film this now. So
they had to make sure and do it in the lowest
yes. And it's one of the reasons why I don't know why it is that Los Angeles scene was done in double time.
Why? It's like triple time. It's so strange.
It's really kind of funny
so
about
blurry.
that.
And
it's also hilarious that you go to Disneyland at Christmas time because clearly that's when they filmed it.
Yep.
I guarantee it was the Christmas season of 2000 because California Adventure opened in February of 2001.
Yep.
I guarantee it was filmed in December or November of 2000.
Well, we'll just go with it.
And they had no other options. And I mean, it was super popular. People absolutely loved it. They loved it so much they brought it to Epcot. And then the thing is, they were then starting to build, like years and years and years later, they were starting to build Shanghai Disneyland, and they wanted a version of Soarin' there as well, but they didn't want it to be over California because they didn't care about the United States.
Why would anyone in China want to go over
And
California?
so they developed a version that would go around the world, and there it's called Soarin' over the Horizon. But then Disney just thought, why don't we just update it everywhere? And so that's why they updated it in every location around the world.
And it's slightly higher definition now.
But then it went backward for some reason.
Yeah,
After
I don't know what's
a refurbishment. But now in this year, just the ones in America are going to be Soarin' across America, and then the other ones are internationally are going to stay Soaring Fantastic Flight and Soarin' over the Horizon are the other two versions.
You have to get it correct.
Yes, because they technically have different names. It's weird. But yeah, Disney, they will plus rides for various reasons. They will update rides. They will make them where they're almost basically a brand new ride. They will completely replace a ride, even though they don't replace the ride vehicles or the track like they did with Monsters, Inc. or not Monsters After Dark. What's the not as good version of that called?
Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout.
Or Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Yeah, same track. But
they do that as well. But then there's also just, it happens all the time. And sometimes they don't even make a big deal about it. But rides change all the time. And it's actually super, super fun. And so that's another reason people say, like, that went like 5 years ago. You can let them know, like, do you know how much has changed in 5 years?
Well, and it's because, like, there's the Disney fans who are so nostalgic. They're like, don't touch anything. And then there's the ones who, like, want things changed all the time. But often it's just, like, cool little, like, just technological updates or little nuances that... and you often go through it like, wait, is that new? Or is that the same? And it makes it more special, I think, so...
It's kind of fun when you go through a ride and there's something that's different. Sometimes you're expecting it different. Sometimes it's just like you're getting a little refresh. Sometimes it's finding new things that you didn't notice before, didn't even know were coming. So always expect every time you go that something is going to be a little bit different. It's really, really great. That's kind of why we wanted to talk about it a little bit. So, and also give people a reason. Now you can tell them, like, do you want to know why you need to come back to Disneyland just because you haven't been in the last 10 years? Well, let me tell you.
Things change.
Anyway, we will try not to take as much time as we did last week, because last week was long. But if you make sure that you plan your own trip to Disneyland this year, you can use our friends at Getaway Today. Use the link in the description. They're great to work with, and then it's a way to kind of help us out as well, but it doesn't cost you anything extra.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
And then make sure that you subscribe to the podcast to get new episodes as they drop. And then we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.